Hey guys, it's TF Nut. Welcome back to the channel. And for the final day of me reviewing previously released NECA horror-related action figures on Halloween, we're going to be taking a look at the previously released NECA Ultimate Universal Monsters Bride of Frankenstein figure. They unfortunately didn't make any brand new this month figures because they usually don't. I think they actually in November is when new horror-related figures from NECA come out, which is just the way with them. Like, they just do that all the time for some reason. But this one I've been wanting to get for a while. I think I'm almost done with most of the Universal monsters I want from this line. I think there's a couple more maybe variants that I wanted to get and I haven't yet. But very excited to finally have this one here and end Halloween on a pretty high note with Bride of Frankenstein. Let's go ahead and take a look at the packaging. This classic poster right there. As you can see, you have Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein right there where it says Bride of Frankenstein, as well as where it says Karloff, as well as Elsa, Lanchester, and all the other cast. Universal Pictures. Let's go ahead and take a look at the top of the packaging. It's just the side of, just the image from the front of just Bride of Frankenstein, that lettering there. Ages 17 and up. NECA, warning, choking hazard there. On this side, you have an image of the figure with Bride of Frankenstein right there. Actually, I'm covering that up. You can see where it says it has the Universal Monsters logo, NECA, and Real Toys. Then this really nice image right here of her just completely wrapped up. On the bottom here, you do have a barcode in case you need it. You have the Universal logo and the pretty much the credits of who all worked on this product right there. On the back of the packaging, you have a whole widespread of just how different accessories can be used for this figure, different posing. And then down here it just says Bride of Frankenstein, as well as some of the stuff that this comes with right there. I should mention now I got this on Amazon. I think it was only a little over 30 bucks. Let's go ahead and take a look at the inside flap here. You have this image right there of Bride of Frankenstein, and then the image right there of the figure. Let's go ahead and get this figure out of the packaging. And here is the figure out of the packaging. As you can see, there is a lot of fabric going on here. So much that it's spilling off of my rotating stand. But this is a pretty nice figure. There's not much going on with this one, unfortunately, but it's still really nice. Let's take a look at the accessories, then we'll take a closer look at the figure. I've been doing these reviews all this month to where I show some photos and then cut to accessory portions. It's going to be easier and more worthwhile just to show you everything all at once on the figure. No extra photos. Just because there actually isn't that much stuff, but it doesn't really need that much stuff. First of all, we do have this alternate head, and these do attach at the neck area right here. You're going to see that with the head that this comes packaged with, and then they did it because of this head where it's completely wrapped with those staples. I guess they're staples or pins all the way there. It's been a while since I've seen the movie. But you see that neck piece there will be more consistent with the wrappings going on here. So this particular head sculpt is pretty crazy. Very nice scream going on. The detail in the tongue and the teeth, and the you also see in the lips are also really nice. A little bit of shading around the eyes, those green eyes. Great expression going on there. And then you do have like whatever these scars underneath the chin and around the neck. Oh, that's great. A little bit of a wash, it feels like, in the brown of the hair with these white sections right there. Those streaks. It does look like the brown is getting in there a little too much, but it's not too bad. And then we do have some detailing on the back of the head, all the way on this very large hair section going on here too. So I put one of these hands already on here. This is a widespread finger hand, and then we do have some loose wrappings, kind of similar to the Mummy, Universal Monsters Mummy here. And this thing, you can remove the hand and put this on, but this thing actually is already completely loose to where you can just wrap it around without having to pop off a hand. This is the hand it came packaged with. I will show you quickly what it does look like when you pop the hand on like this. And then again, this is a different type of this wrap accessory that can be removed later. Last but certainly not least, well, a couple things associated with this is this wrapped up head that I showed off a little earlier with those pins, staples, whatever going on in there. The green in the eyes. And then we do have a little bit of shading around the eyes too. A nice silver going on here. And the way that everything is wrapped up looks pretty good. It just kind of feels like it's in a one tone. Maybe it could have had a little bit of some dirty detail, but still looks nice. You get this face piece here that you cover Now, I honestly, because this is a separate piece, I honestly thought you had to take this off and it wouldn't come off. But you do just place it on there. It's not the most secure fit, I don't feel. But this does cover that. You can kind of see the top there, unfortunately. But you see how, like, the nose that gets covered. Yeah, so that is kind of nice. Last but not least, let's pop this on here. I think the cloak is going to get in the way a little bit. But yeah, you fit on there. And actually, let me show off an image of what it looks like without this this cloak here. Here's a quick look at what this figure looks like with this alternate head without the cloak on, you know, that fabric piece. This actually looks really nice. If you knew nothing about the Bride of Frankenstein, you wanted something that kind of looks like a generic female mummy. This kind of works, actually, because this looks really nicely done, how it's all wrapped up and stuff. I think, you know, the separation where the neck meets the body is a little apparent because of how that's molded, you know, the interchangeable neck system, but it is it is what it is with that. It's still pretty nice here. So when it comes to how the figure looks out of the packaging, this is what we get, and this more neutral expression is still pretty creepy with this nice wide eye expression. Pretty nice detailing on the lips again. They actually did a really good job of like type of definition in her cheeks and her chin as well. You know, the bone structure there too. The nose, the little bit of shadow around the eyes with the green there, those eyebrows, and with the like white streaks going on here, these do look a little bit better than the previous head. A little bit of brown still getting through here. At least, you know, we have, it could be consistent because her hair's brown, so, you know, maybe that's coming through a little bit. But like the actual paint there is nice. And just like that previous head, the way that they kind of did like a shadow, like a wash almost in the hair, the brown the back there, all that is really nice. And then this is actually, we're not in love with this, but we have a very large tie section here, which this is tied very nicely, but it's, for some reason it still feels like it can come undone a little bit. While I appreciate that we have soft goods, is this supposed to be torn here too? It looks like a little too much of a rip. But these are a very nice quality fabric, at least. Very nice and soft, very flowy. Lots of fabric here. It seems like we get a lot of excess fabric towards the back. I think that's how it's supposed to be. You know, kind of like a bride's gown, I guess. I guess that was the point. But, oh yeah, that's popping off a little bit. It does cover up the details of her whole body, which we'll talk about in a second. And then you do have the arm ramps all the way down that are exposed because of the little cuts going on here in the arms. Push these up a little bit. That's the thing, is that because joints tend to get in the way and make things a little hard to move around this stuff, things can get trapped if you like close the arms, then some things won't budge here or here. But I think what I'm going to say, kind of like what I was talking about earlier, is that, you know, when we get to the rest of the body to talk about with these arms, it just seems like they only have one color, and maybe they should have had a little bit like brown in here or some type of shading or something. It doesn't look bad at all. It looks really nicely detailed, but I think just one coat of paint here isn't the greatest, but still looks nice with all these nice wrinkles, like on the hands too. See just how wrapped up the hands are with the palms here on these. I never really talked about the detail of any of the other stuff, but these have nice detail. Very similar detailing on these hands for pretty much all sets of hands. You can kind of see the legs when you move these up a little bit, but I think in order for me to you know, talk about the body, I do need to take this off real quick. Now we have the bride without the gown on. One thing I forgot to mention is just this large cut all the way around the neck. We do have some basically just you know, anatomy of these like muscles, I guess, for the neck there too. And then around the chest we have these large pin or staple sections. All the way around the body is also completely wrapped. You do see some tears in the wraps, which look really nice, all the way down to the side too. Then getting down to the legs going on there too. Just, it's just really nicely detailed. There's not much to talk about. It's just someone who's completely wrapped in bandages, basically. And again, very mummy-esque. Look, I don't have the mummy on me right now, but they definitely, I think that came out first and then this came out. They may have used techniques on that figure with this, not entirely sure, but the way that their feet are wrapped too, again, more detailing on the legs. Not much else to talk about in terms of that. Having this out though, like this, it does make me want to switch to that neck. But now I do want to mention, these are soft plastic sections going around the shoulders right there. You can see that those are moving, these soft plastic here. But if you want to try to pop a head on while these are up, that soft plastic is going to get in the way. So you want to put the arms down. This is kind of a no duh, I guess, for some people, but we'll put that on. Yeah, that just feels right. Like all the way wrapped up without the gown. Looking really good. And then if you really wanted to, just put that face mask section on going on right there. Looks great. Bottom of the feet, forgot to mention. Does have some wraps going on there. Top of the feet, I already kind of mentioned all of that too. So, yeah. Oh, there's a nice like cross section. That's actually consistent. You can see that how that, I mean, this breaks it up, of course, this little seam line because of the separation, but the way that that works, how that is consistent is really nice. It feels like I didn't talk that much about it, but it's just the Bride of Frankenstein with a really nice hair sculpt on both heads that's unwrapped. And the wrapped head is very nice. The whole body is wrapped up and could have a little bit more in terms of paint, but the paint that is here is still really good. And it has really nice, if not just a little bit flowy, which I think is kind of the point, soft goods that I think a couple of tears in there might have been a little suspect for me. But this thing is pretty nice though. Talking about the head articulation, it can go up that far. It does want to start separating when you push it back a little too far. Every set of heads goes up just about the same. The hair thankfully doesn't get in the way at all, but you can see how far up it goes, which is actually not that far, and then down could be better. Side to side, and the swivel right there. Arms do go all the way around here, then they do go in and out, which that almost goes all the way out. Single joint elbow, not the greatest. Swivel at the wrist, hinge at the wrist. Is for all sets of hands. We have a ball jointed waist here, so we can swivel. The forward and back is not the greatest, and then we have a side-to-side type motion here. I do believe there is a soft plastic midsection here, but that's as far forward as it wants to go. Not the greatest. Far back, not really at all. Almost a perfect split, though. And we do get an upper thigh swivel in there, and you can see how that joint looks. Swivel at the, well, it's a hinge first at the knee at 90. NECA figures, they don't have great knee articulation at all. And then we do have swivel here, down, and then up. Pretty good, actually. And then ankle rocker. Quick size comparison going on here. We're getting at the top of the hair. That's going to be like 19 centimeters, so like maybe 16 and a half to 17 to the top of the actual head. But just to be, simplifying this, the top of the hair is going to be 7.5 inches. Tons of figures for size comparisons. I want to do a quick size comparison with her on the left there of the first version of Frankenstein's monster we have here. That is not the Bride of Frankenstein version, but I still wanted to bring him out. And then the rest of these figures I reviewed throughout the month here just to show you that this is a little bit of a shorter figure. I'll do my quick rankings of my most favorite to least favorite that I reviewed this month, 5 being my least favorite and 1 being my most favorite. Even then, there's a least favorite. All of these are still fantastic. These are really awesome figures no matter what. So yeah, as you saw in the previous section of the video, I do think that this is my least favorite of the 5 figures I reviewed this month, but that still makes it a really great figure because there's really nothing objectively wrong with it. It's just personally, and it's not really fair to say this entirely, but it doesn't really come with that much stuff compared to the other stuff I reviewed this month, which she doesn't really need that much stuff. But, for the price point, which I paid a little bit cheaper, like 30 to 32 bucks, this could still be a $35 figure, which is a little steep for what you get. But what you do have here is still nice. You have different heads that attach at the neck, so it's nice that they thought about that. The normal heads with the hair looking like Elsa Lanchester, all of that is really nice. And then you have the more like wrapped up head, and you have a mask that goes over the eyes basically for that. That's really cool. The fact that you can take off the soft goods and you have basically a mummified version of this figure, that is really sick. Different hands, only really one set of hands. Then we have some plastic wraps that go on the arms if you wanted to. That's still a nice, decent articulation. It could be a little bit better in some areas that NECA usually struggles in, like the elbows and knees, and maybe a little bit of the head. And I do think that the wraps look really great. I just wish I had a little bit more detailing. There's nothing wrong with how they look. The detailing is great in terms of, the sculpt work. But I think just more paint than just one color for the wraps would have been a little bit better. But this is still nice. I'll leave links in the description below where you can find it. Hopefully it's a little bit cheaper than 35 bucks. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Comment down below what you think of the figure, what you think of the review. Leave a like, share amongst your friends. Follow me on Instagram for more content over there, and happy Halloween.